Hey, welcome back. Good to have in the studio with us C.W. Smith, certainly no stranger to Southern Oregon. And yeah, he's on the ballot again, kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Every time I get a ballot, you're there somewhere. Anyway, former Jackson County Commissioner and former Jackson County Sheriff. And he decided to throw his hat in the ring for Senate District 28, which, where is that district, C.W.?
It's all of Klamath, part of Jackson, runs up to Deschutes, just below Bend, and then on over to Crook County and Prineville and back down to Lake County. Wow. And all the way to the border and across to all of Klamath.
So people and pelicans?
Yes. Listen, I've seen antelope and pelicans and I've seen people and lots of cows. And
it's
been
a great
wonderful.
area. It's a great area.
It really is.
Well, listen, and you live in the district out there in the Eagle Point area, so you're in that district. And why are you doing this? Because it's a strange set of circumstances that got to a write-in. What happened?
Well, if I can belabor the issue just slightly, I was sitting on my tractor minding my own business, and I get this call from a friend of mine in the press, and it says, "Have you seen the paper?" And I said, "No, I'm retired."
Yeah, right. That's refired.
So, and he says, "Did you see, this is not right." And then he explained what happened. Yeah. And I said, "No, that isn't right. That's not right at all. You can't coronate somebody for a position like that." And that's what it was done. That's how it was done.
All right, the seat is presently held by Doug Wissett out of Klamath Falls. And he decided not to run within hours of the filing date, right?
He actually withdrew after the filing date and the day before, 15 minutes before, two candidates filed for his and his wife's position, and then he withdraws the next day.
So it was obviously a setup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How else can you look at it, right? So that's what happened.
Yeah.
So, which is unfortunate, because why would a public servant fool around like that?
Well, I think they shared the same ideology. And I think he wanted to assure, the senator probably wanted to assure that somebody would follow with the same kind of mentality. Yeah. But the problem with that is it doesn't allow for the electorate to make a choice.
Right. And
to at least hear differing opinions. So I talked it over with my wife, who's the boss.
Yeah.
So she said, considering what this is about, and you need to run and make it.
All right, so if you live in Senate District 28, which takes in, again, portions of Jackson County, which would be the eastern portions of Jackson County.
Yeah, and north.
Up through Eagle Point in that way. And then if you're out towards Klamath Falls and you're out towards Deschutes and all of that area, because we do broadcast out in that area, what do they do if they want you to be, what do they do? They got their ballot. On the ballot says what?
There's Senate District 28, Dennis Linthicum, and then below that is a write-in, and you just can scribble in the little circle and write my name, and it's very hard to remember, and I'll show you the graphics on this. It's going to be, yeah.
Oh, it's very hard. Write in C.W. Smith. All right, so C.W. Smith, doesn't get any more plain than that. Could be C.W. Jones, but it's C.W. Smith. All right, so you just write that in under Senate District 28.
Yeah.
All right, so what is it about the district in that position that you're passionate about?
Well, number one, jobs, and jobs as they relate to the rural community, agrarian, and issues, and very important issues. Water issues, land use issues are very important. Lakeview is very worried about their last mill closing. And they had a stewardship kind of agreement that has not been very productive for that mill. The dimension of the wood they're getting is not marketable, and they're having a very tough time. And a lot of that has to do with an interface with the state and the federal government to start speaking up and advocate, being an advocate for those issues. And growth. Growth is an issue for a lot of these communities. For instance, Prineville now has a very substantial, I don't know if you know this, Facebook is building a huge facility there. Right. And they're having a housing issue and a land use and land planning issue that they're trying to address and stuff. Wow. I was just in Prineville here 3 weeks ago, and they unveiled a wonderful project that they put together. They had been given like a $58 million bill to think they would do this, and they did it like for $8 million and put this. So the incentives and the people are diverse in many ways, but very similar in others. And I think they need a very strong advocate in the legislature. And we know the odds in the legislature are not stacked in favor of conservatives. So with that in mind, they wanted somebody that they knew could work and work through difficult situations. And you know my record. Right. I've been able to stand up and do the kinds of things that necessary to get things done. So, and that's why I'm running.
All right, so C.W. Smith, Senate District 28, it's a write-in, so if he wins the primary, obviously goes on into the general, but it's very critical that if you live in District 28 and you get a Republican ballot, you can look in there and write that in there. There's continued concern about water and monuments. Yeah. And we've seen some flare-ups in all of that area. How would you, as state senator, be able to help any of those situations?
Well, you know, you push, and you advocate wherever you can. As you know, I asked the presidential candidate Kasich while he was here that very issue, and I had gotten a call early on, said if you can get there and get next to him, and I got there and I got next to him and I made the statement, and so it was planted, the seed was planted. He may wind up in the administration, he may be the Secretary of the Interior, who knows? But the point is the question, and he heard succinctly the issue, 2.5 million acres being set aside monument. Here's another question that needs to be posed. When you create these monuments, it's not healthy for the environment. It's actually not healthy for the environment. And what happened before, let's use the term when the buffalo roamed. They would go through and they would eat down the brush and so forth, and then they would replant. Their hooves are designed for replanting seed. And when that happens, the prairie and becomes much healthier, but in the whole environment. When they eliminate that, and they eliminate that natural selection process in the wild like that, they destroy that economy and they destroy that natural environment. They actually take a lot of that out. And the other thing is, for instance, the Native Americans are deeply worried that all of a sudden a lot of their monument, their sacred sites will be violated, you know, in this process because they're set aside, they're private, and when you create a monument, you create more influx of citizens to wander all over and stuff. And so they're concerned about that. So there's all kinds of issues,
All right, so at the
aside from hurting the private cattlemen and the farmers and that whole area.
I mean, what are these guys going to do? I mean, they can't water their cows. They can't get down to the water. They can't get the water out. What are they to do? They're
gonna die on the vine. They're gonna disappear, and that's what's happening. I had a farmer tell me in Klamath. He said, I lost my son a few years ago when we lost our water because we lost the ability to maintain that income. Yeah. And my son said, Dad, I can't live here on this. I have to go someplace. And he did. He went someplace else to work. And a lot of young people are finding that. So we don't make it very easy for the farmers in this community, in this state, or in this district to survive. It's very hard. It's a big issue.
Does the rest of the district, C.W., feel somewhat offended because they weren't given an opportunity to have somebody else on the ballot? This looked like a cut and dried deal, and probably works very well in Klamath Falls. And we have a lot of friends in Klamath, you know. Yeah. I get all that. But you would think the people on the outside of that area in that huge district would say, wait a minute, we didn't have a part of this.
To the man and to the woman, people have spoken very clearly about that. That's generally the first words out of their mouth is we didn't like that. We don't like that. That's not how we want to see it work. Right. We want to hear differing opinions. We think it should have been a lot more open, and the way that went down, really nobody liked it.
What about in its own backyard? How are you playing in Klamath? How are you doing over there?
I think I'm doing well. I think I'm doing fairly well. I've been very, very favorably treated by the press over there and the media. I've had a number of interviews, and the Klamath Herald and News did a very nice article. And I've stopped in once or twice to just say hi, but they're always busy. But I've gotten very good reception all along the way from all the folks. And they like the idea of having a divergent opinion. They like the idea of hearing something that isn't somebody talking down to them, but talking to them.
All right, so this is a unique situation. Oregon's known for it. He's been in the middle of it all this time. Yeah. Anyway, C.W. Smith, he is the Senate District 28, which takes in Klamath Falls, parts of Jackson County up to the north, and then out over to Deschutes, Lake County and all around out there.
And Crook County, yeah.
Crook County. So if you're in those areas and you got a ballot, a Republican ballot, down in Senate seat number 28, if you want to, it's up to you, write in, pretty simple, look at that, doesn't get any more simple than that, C.W. Smith. And by the way, if you want to get in contact with him, go to C.W. Smith, for C.W. Smith, for Senate.com. Thanks, bud.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.